And today I'm very excited to be giving you the update on a Monday. So that is our trending news in Zimbabwe and Africa. So let's go. We've got a lot to cover in a short space of time. So I want to start with what is happening in Zayoja. So Zayoja has got a big Sunday. That's a significant event where my Guti has hosted in the UK a big Sunday. So you can go check this out on the Zayoja platforms. This is significant because this is one of the few events where my Guti has hosted this event since the passing of the founder and leader of Zayoja. So she has done very, very well. I like my Guti very, very much. When I watch her, it's exciting to watch someone that is passionate about a church. She's doing so well. My Guti, go check out the full video on the Zayoja platforms, and I like it. Then Mnangagwa is back in Zimbabwe. He was received back by Chiwenga and Mohadi. Take note of the scarf. So Chiwenga is wearing the black scarf that is in preparation for the protest that is taking place. You heard Sarwaka mentioning that you have to wear black. So Chiwenga is doing the right thing. He's wearing black for the protest, which is coming on the 1st of July. So, sorry, not the 1st, the 31st of July. We've passed the 1st. So a protest is going to be held on Thursday, the 31st in Bulawayo and in Harare. So you must be well aware that there is a protest taking place in Harare and in Bulawayo, and the dates and times have been given in the interview that I had with Sarwaka yesterday. Very, very important for you to note what is happening with that protest. Then we certainly have a lot of news taking place in the UK. There is a massive reaction to the dressing of the youngsters at Zimfest. So you can go check out almost all the social media platforms are complaining about the way young people were dressed. But to me, this looks quite normal. I live in a country where dressing is nothing. So let's go to the top story. That is Kuda Tagwirei. Kuda Tagwirei is making waves like never before. So I cannot believe that in such a short of time, Kuda Tagwirei has become the top man to watch. So he is doing everything. And it's clear that Tagwirei is going for the presidency. He is not going for anything else. So today, Tagwirei has released his manifesto. If you go to X, presented a long statement on what he plans to do in terms of Zimbabwe, not only as a part of land tenure, but he has expanded in detail what he plans to do. And he doesn't mention Mnangagwa in all his things. So it's clear to me that he is campaigning, and he's campaigning for his 2028 presidency. So we're going to quickly see Tagwirei rising to the vice presidency. My belief is that before December, Tagwirei is going to be the vice president of Zimbabwe, replacing Mohadi or replacing Chiwenga, one of those two. So let's read what he has said. In Zimbabwe's complex land narrative, few names stir both debate and intrigue, like Elder Dr Kudakwashe Tagwirei, a figure whose presence at the intersection of politics, enterprise, and national development continues to reshape how land tenure is framed in the post-reform era. Recent updates under his stewardship signal a shift not in ownership rhetoric alone, but in strategic execution. Land, long emblematic of historical injustices and post-independence reclamation, is now being reimagined as a vehicle for economic productivity, youth inclusion, and infrastructural renewal. From redistribution to optimization, Dr. Tagwirei's involvement in land tenure initiatives is steering dialogue towards security of title, investor confidence, and strategic leasing models that preserve national integrity while inviting innovation. The emphasis is clear. Zimbabwe must transition from land as a symbol of struggle to land as an engine of growth. We cannot be content with reclaimed land that sits idle. The next revolution is productivity. A reported comment from a strategic workshop led by Tagwirei. By focusing on productive land use, streamlining documentation, and dispute resolution mechanisms, his approach suggests a maturation of Zimbabwe's land policy, anchoring it in efficiency, accountability, and inclusive access. Dr. Tagwirei's blueprint encourages youths and emerging farmers to be part of the story, not just as beneficiaries, but as agents of change. Through targeted partnerships and training, the vision is to make agriculture competitive, tech-enabled, and scalable. The idea is to politicize land. It is to professionalize stewardship. Under Elder Tagwirei's influence, land tenure reform is being pitched as essential infrastructure, just like roads, telecoms, and power. Secure tenure enables collateralization, encourages long-term investment, and stimulates agribusiness. In this context, land stops being a flashpoint for conflict and becomes a platform for wealth creation, employment generation, and food security. Balancing land and legality. While past reforms were politically motivated, Tagwirei's lens appears to fuse historical accountability with legal clarity. He is promoting policy coherence that protects indigenous gains while attracting strategic partnerships aligned with national goals. Zimbabwe stands at a crossroad. Land tenure updates driven by Tagwirei suggest that visionary stewardship, not populist slogans, will define the next phase of agricultural reform. As Vision 2030 looms, the real question is not who owns the land, but who makes it thrive. So take note that there's no name of Mnangagwa in all this statement. So it's got nothing to do with Mnangagwa. This is about Tagwirei, and Tagwirei is setting the stage for himself, not for Mnangagwa. So Mnangagwa is gone. As far as Tagwirei is concerned, we have reached almost the 1,000-day mark to the next election. So the 1,000-day mark is going to be critical. That is the day when campaigning will start. And you can see that Tagwirei started early. And who are his potential competitors? So his potential competitors are Mchangwa and Chiwenga. So take note that Chiwenga currently doesn't have a manifesto. So Chiwenga doesn't have a manifesto. Chiwenga is next in line. So Chiwenga is next in line. He is just supposed to walk into the position. And what Tagwirei is doing is to set himself apart. He wants to look like he's got a plan. So that is for land tenure, for making Zimbabwe more productive, and also for partnerships. So he's appealing to the young people who want land, and he wants to set himself apart from Chiwenga and Mchangwa. Mchangwa's plan is based on large-scale industry. So Mchangwa says Zimbabwe must have steel, and then that steel will be used for construction. But he doesn't say how other people, normal people, are going to benefit. So he's setting himself apart. If you look at Tagwirei's plan, is to set himself apart and also to disassociate himself from Mnangagwa. So you can see that Tagwirei does not associate himself with Mnangagwa in everything that he's doing. In his campaigns, he does not mention or try to align himself to Mnangagwa. So take note what is happening here. Tagwirei has got a plan, and keep this at the back of your hand, of your mind. So internally within Zanu, that is Chiwenga, who is trying to ride on the legacy of Mnangagwa. So what Chiwenga is doing is saying, I'm next in line, I fought in the war, and I must take over. What Tagwirei is saying is, I am the one that is going to transform the economy, and I'm breaking from everything that has been happening, which is to do with the liberation struggle. And then we've got Mchangwa, who is saying all these two guys must be challenged. So you can see that Mchangwa and Chiwenga do not as yet have a manifesto, and they don't have platforms. So Chiwenga doesn't have a communication platform. Similarly, Mchangwa have a communication platform. A third person is going to join, and that person is Sanyatwe. Sanyatwe is going to become a presidential candidate. You're going to see it within a short time. Sanyatwe is going to join the presidential race. So in Zanu PF already, I can see Sanyatwe, Chiwenga, Mchangwa, and Tagwirei as the candidates internally. Those are the guys who are going to compete. And you can see Sanyatwe laying the foundation for the presidential campaign. He's doing a lot of talking. And then outside, you are going to have Chamisa. Chamisa is going to come, but he's not going to come for a long time. It's going to be for a very short space of time. And then you have, obviously, the person that we've proposed, who is Fadzai Mahere. So you have 5 potential candidates who are going to come, who are clear right now. And I think that of all these, Mahere is probably going to do the most with the least of the work. The person that has got the most work to do is Mchangwa. So Mchangwa and Sanyatwe have got the most work to do. Then the least work is Mahere and Tagwirei. Those two are going to end up being the front runners. If Mahere decides to run, she's going to have the least work, followed by Tagwirei. Tagwirei is going to have the least work because he's got a lot of groundwork that has already been covered. He's dealing with the foundation that was set by Mnangagwa, that is Young Women for ED, and also the presidential schemes. So all the presidential schemes are under Mnangagwa and Tagwirei. But you're going to see that when he campaigns, he's not going to mention the name of Mnangagwa. He's going to disassociate himself. So who is going to fall out? I believe that Mchangwa will be the first person to fall out, followed by Sanyatwe. So those two are going to fall out very quickly. And eventually we have 3 candidates. That is Tagwirei. Sorry, 4. We're going to have Tagwirei. We're going to have Chiwenga. Then we're going to have Chamisa and Mahere. So Mahere and Chamisa are eventually going to challenge each other, because when Chamisa comes, he's going to come with no one. He's going to come without a party. And you're going to see that the infrastructure that we're going to create for Mahere is going to become a big part of what happens in the opposition. She's got the least work to do. If she jumps in, Mahere will do very, very well. She's going to beat all these guys very, very easily, without a doubt. So you can see Tagwirei is realizing all this. He's got a plan. And let's see what he does. He is talking a lot and he's doing a lot. Okay, let's quickly go to some news. I think you've understood. If you've got any questions, you can come in here and ask in the comment section. But take note that Tagwirei is a very serious contender. And what is making this job easy is what Chiwenga is doing. Chiwenga has set up no platforms. So Chiwenga needs to quickly set up platforms. He cannot ride on Mnangagwa's platforms. So he cannot say, I'm next in line. There's a lot of work to be done, especially in the media. Tagwirei is so visible, and that is because he knows what is at stake. The image of Mnangagwa is damaged, and Tagwirei knows it. You will never see anything that Tagwirei does that has got the name Mnangagwa in it. He's trying to push himself as far away from Mnangagwa as possible. So watch his communication. He wants to go to the churches. So he's going to do the churches, he's going to do the universities, and he's going to do international. So Tagwirei is going to try to clean his image. You see him in Nigeria already. Yesterday he was in Nigeria, where the SDA have granted him an honorary doctorate. He was at Solusi the day before. He was at NAST. He was at Masvingo Polytechnic. And he's going to continue in that way. He wants to associate himself with the church and with the students and with young women. That is where Tagwirei is going. And now he is looking at land. So he's going to dish out that land to young people. That is Tagwirei's plan. And it's clear. You can see it in all that he's doing. Watch very closely what Tagwirei is doing. So let's quickly run into the news. Start with the Herald newspaper. So the Herald newspaper is leading with the story of Mavuku interchange. So the Mavuku interchange is between Harare and Arua. So this is the most dangerous interchange in Harare. And like Trabablas, there's a lot of traffic there around that area. And a lot of people have died there. So they are going to be constructing a new interchange at Mavuku. So you can go check out that story in the Herald newspaper. Then if you go to H Metro newspaper, a teacher at Glenview 1 has been arrested after being accused by a student. So apparently this teacher, Fisher Mtawarira, would call students to his office and then try his luck. And then one of the students said that is not on and reported him. So that is in the H Metro newspaper. Also in the H Metro newspaper, you see that Nicholas Zakaria, a popular and prominent Zimbabwean musician, has gotten assistance with his disease, which is diabetes and high blood pressure. He's getting assistance. As we mentioned last week, diabetes creeps on you slowly. So it starts slowly, and you mustn't allow it to get to a point where it is becoming chronic. So this is what has happened to Manzibaba Nicholas. You can see the drip there, and you can see, I don't know who is helping him. So go check it out in the H Metro newspaper. Then on Ezra Chiza for Life, you can see that Skokotela Mpoko has eventually found his mother. So Skokotela was claiming that his mother, his real mother, was not the mother that he was given. So you can go and check out on Gambakwe. We've put a timeline on it, a detailed timeline on what happened with the Mpoko family. Skokotela has been a troubled child with his family, fighting with his mother and sisters, and he failed to attend the funeral of his father. So today at Ezra Chisa for Life, he has indicated that he has found his mother. So I think this mother, which he saw, was given by his aunt. So that is this picture here. Just show the picture for you. I don't know what's happening when I put it there. So he saw this picture, and he was told by his aunt that this is his real mother. And therefore, he started looking for her, which caused the problem with his father. And you can see that he's found her. Look at those teeth. These two people have the same teeth. I can see the similarity. I don't know if they've done the DNA, but they were supposed to do a DNA test. And I hope that there's a reason why she wasn't finding her own son. So I don't know why she was not finding her own son if she is the mother. Then in soccer, it is terrible for Dynamos. So Dynamos is now deeper and deeper into the relegation zone. You can clearly see that Dynamos is not doing well. They have lost their match this weekend 3-0 against Chicken Inn. And Dynamos is at the moment, let's see how many points. They've got 16 points from 23 matches. And the relegation is almost certain of Dynamos. It's almost certain that they'll be relegated. However, there is a rule in the PSL that Dynamos and Highlanders cannot be relegated. According to people that have talked to me, it's not possible to relegate that team, Dynamos. So they will keep it in, and they will add an additional team if Dynamos is in the relegation zone, according to what I've heard. Then let's go to South Africa. So in South Africa, the biggest story is that the non-executive director of EOH, or IOCO, Anushka Bogdanov, has been fined 500,000 rands after she lied about a PhD. So she lied that she's got a PhD from the London University, one of the biggest universities there. And she was discovered after an investigation. So she has been fined 500,000 rands, and she has been banned for 10 years from becoming a director. in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, in any company in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. So I don't know why people lie about the PhD. You don't have to lie, but she did. And she has been caught. So that is terrible. And then, as I said last week, the Zimbabwe National Army has done a graduation ceremony. And this graduation ceremony has resulted in a huge number of medical professionals. So that is 150 who had attended 4 specialized medical courses. And that is amazing. In entertainment, Comic Pastor wants to resign or to retire. He is currently in the UK. I think he has joined the course. I don't know why he wants to retire from comedy. And then let's quickly look at other events that has happened. So in Glenview, there's been a fire. So many people's livelihoods have been destroyed over there after there was a fire which gutted all the properties, what we call home industries. I think Anna Zigo, they were working there before. So I hope that is okay. I hope that Zigo as property is fine. You know that Zigo is one of our guys here at Gamba. Right, so I think we've covered most of the news that I wanted to cover. Let's now dive deeper into what is going to happen at Mnangagwa's office. So I want to dive deeper because Mnangagwa's office has been very ineffective. So Mnangagwa started very well. He would go around the world trying to do what is called engagement and re-engagement. That is totally flopped. So Mnangagwa is not focused on just traveling around. He's got no plan. He's what we call a lame duck president or Sabuku. Mnangagwa and the Sabuku, aka broker. So look what he's doing now. This week, Joram Gumbo, according to the Herald newspaper, is going to host, Mnangagwa is going to host a monitoring, evaluation, and learning week at the office of the president in collaboration with the United Nations country team. And that begins today. And it's going to run until Friday. Vice President Dr. Constantino Chiwenga is expected to officially open the event. So we're going to watch very closely what happens with Chiwenga. Remember what I told you about Chiwenga. So what Chiwenga do from now is to try to drag everything until Mnangagwa steps down. So that is Chiwenga's plan. What Tagwirei's plan is to do is to disrupt Chiwenga before the resignation of Mnangagwa. That is a coup. So they are going to try to do a coup on Chiwenga. So the coup is not on Mnangagwa. The coup is on Chiwenga. So the coup is going to be on Chiwenga. So you can see that Mnangagwa is going to try to pull Chiwenga closer and closer. But the plan is to cut off his head very quickly. So watch the strategy. The next 1,000 days is critical. They are going to try to give Chiwenga fake powers. So Chiwenga is going to be given fake powers. His job right now is to get off from under Mnangagwa. If he's got strategists, Chiwenga will look closely at what I'm telling him. There is no person who's going to become a president from the vice presidency. It will never happen. So you have to get out from under the vice presidency, under the presidency, and go into your own men. That is, you must be willing to lose the vice presidency. That is very important. If Chiwenga loses the vice presidency, then he comes here where Mahere is sitting. So, guys, I keep mentioning Mahere. You don't understand maybe what I'm saying here. She's going to play a very big part. So, Chiwenga will come here where Mahere is sitting. So, it will be Chiwenga and Mahere in the opposition. That is the ideal situation because Chamisa is not coming. However, if Chamisa does come, he has to find a party. So Chamisa cannot become a president without a party because you can't cover the 210 constituencies alone. So you must understand that if he comes as a movement, he still needs a political party. And CC is not a vehicle. CC is discredited. You can see that we are now entering the real deal. This is the game now. We're in the game. And these guys, the guys that you're mocking, you see like guys who are mocked like this, these ones, ICBT play a very key role. Karenyi Kore and Ngube less so, but ICBT is going to play a key role in what is going to happen. You're going to see Chamisa approaching BT and trying to form some form of coalition with people like BT. He's going to do it because Chamisa cannot do it alone. So remember, now we are entering the phase of the campaign. That is why you see Tagwirei coming so fast. Tagwirei is moving very fast. You're also going to see Grace. She's going to appear. So you're going to see Grace appearing. You're going to see Kasukuwere jumping into Zanu PF. But where is Kasukuwere going to go? Because Tagwirei has taken the position that Kasukuwere thought he was going to take, which is the dark horse. He was going to be the dark horse, but Kasukuwere is no longer the dark horse. In fact, Kasukuwere is just going to come back and go into one of the teams. So he's going to fall under one of the teams, either the Chiwenga team or the Tagwirei team. He's going to go in there and become one of those people who are going to be under another person. He's not going to be president. He's going to be aiming now for the vice presidents. You're going to be having a new team, a completely new team inside of ZANU. So within the next 1,000 days, you're going to have Tagwirei, you're going to have Chiwenga, you're going to have Grace, and you're going to have Kasukuwere. Those guys are going to play a big part in what is going to happen. The rest of the top team, including Opa, have to find a place to go. And I can see Opa being retired. And then Sanyatwe is going to take that place here in defense. If he doesn't become a presidential candidate, you're going to see Sanyatwe going to defense under Chiwenga or under Tagwirei. You're going to see one of the sides, that's where he's going to go. So strategically, you're starting to see a shift and a refocusing because Mnangagwa is going to go, but he needs protection. And the protection is that of Tagwirei, who is trying to distance himself and pretend as if he's not with Mnangagwa. However, don't forget that you've got Auxilia. Auxilia is not feeling well. So you're going to see Auxilia moving away from the space very, very quickly. You're going to see what I've noticed about Auxilia is that she's got much more serious problems than most people can understand. So when I observe Auxilia, what I see is when she's talking, she cannot string her sentences properly together. So her logic is not there. Watch carefully when Auxilia is speaking. I don't know what's going on, but she doesn't make sense. So she's rambling a lot. And I'm not saying this is a way of mocking her. Just go and watch when Auxilia is giving a speech, what happens. She just goes on certain tangents and it's automatic. It just comes out of nowhere. And you can see that she is not able to focus her thoughts and speak like she used to do. Auxilia used to be very eloquent, but now she just does all sorts of crazy things when she's talking, which is crazy. I normally see that when someone is suffering from, I don't know how to say it, dementia. I don't see dementia. Which brings us the question of Geza. Remember, we're talking about the Manifesto of Tagwirei. So remember why I'm talking about this. So Geza is in the middle. So Geza has done his job. Geza's job was to shake Mnangagwa. And what they've done, they've calculated Geza very carefully. So Mnangagwa's team have calculated Geza. And they've isolated him. So Geza is isolated right now because Chiwenga cannot claim him. Tagwirei doesn't like him. And Muchangwa has got no power. So Muchangwa, as I said, is the first person to drop off. He's going to come in, but he's going to be the first person to drop off. Muchangwa has got no constituency. He's got no constituency. And the war veterans, these ones here, the real war veterans, are eventually going to go either under Chiwenga or they are going to eventually go under Tagwirei. So you can see the reconfiguration taking place inside of ZANU. Okay, I think you've covered it. So from the opposition perspective, is Maher able to do it? Is she confident enough to be a presidential candidate? Because she can unite all the opposition together in an actual political party. So we want to see what she's going to do. Very careful to watch what she does. If Maher does it now, Zimbabwe is going to transform very dramatically, and she's going to win. She's the only person that can beat Tagwirei easy. When Chamisa comes, which is going to happen, he's not going to be able to string together a team. The problem is Chamisa has avoided the crisis. So when the crisis came, in the middle of the crisis, during the time when Geza was speaking, during all that time when everything was happening, Chamisa is not spoken. So it's very difficult for Chamisa to get into what is happening now. It's like you go to town and visit for 3 months and you come back to the village and you try to understand what's going on. That is what Chamisa is like right now. He's gone to town and he left the village. Now he doesn't know what is going on in the village. You're going to see the difficulty that Chamisa is going to face when he tries to get back into politics. The environment has shifted dramatically. And the Zanu PF is no longer the Zanu PF that you used to know. Many young people actually identify with Zanu right now compared to with Chamisa. So Nyokama Bunu and Chamisa, Sarawaka and Chamisa, Gambakwe and Chamisa, those people, if you mention those names, can you believe that people are talking about Gambakwe or Sarawaka or Nyokama Bunu? That was not a thing 6 months ago. It's now a thing because Chamisa avoided the crisis. So in the middle of the crisis, when people were defending his vote, Chiwenga, Nyokama Bunu, Sarawaka, Gambakwe became the people. So Zanu PF started to make a press conference about Nyokama Bunu, about Gambakwe, about Chiwenga. So those kind of things is what we call avoiding the crisis. So when he comes back, he's going to find out that it's going to be so hard for him to come in. You will see it. He's going to find it very difficult to fit into the environment. That is where Chamisa's problem is going to be. This is where Maher comes in. If she misses this chance now to become a presidential candidate, that is the last chance. Maher will never become a presidential candidate again. So you can take it from me. If she misses this chance, other people are going to come, or the environment won't allow her. So 2028 is the only chance for Maher to do it. She's going to be turning 40. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, she turned 40 yesterday. Let me see when was Maher's birthday. I forgot all about this yesterday. So let's see when was Maher's birthday. What is Maher's birthday? Apologies, guys. I totally forgot about this yesterday. I had already marked it in my calendar. That is 30 July 1985. So 30 July is when? Is on Wednesday. So that is my birthday. I'm not yet past it. So I don't know why I thought it was 27. So you can see when it comes to Manifesto, Tagwirei is riding on Mnangagwa. That is the infrastructure of Mnangagwa. And that is going to give him an advantage because first they have to take out Chiwenga. They're going to do it because Chiwenga does not have a team. Chiwenga does not have a platform. So Chiwenga doesn't want to be seen to be campaigning. Remember, when you're a vice, you can't campaign against the boss. So where in Africa have you ever seen a vice president becoming president? So the only place where is probably South Africa, but that is, it has caused so many problems. When a vice president becomes president, either the president is fired or something of that nature. What happened to Mbeki, you saw it. So in the case of Zimbabwe, Chiwenga no longer has the muscle to remove Mnangagwa. Like I told you, he failed to do it in March. So in March, they were supposed to push out Mnangagwa and then Chiwenga would take on. So at the moment, that has not worked. And Chiwenga no longer has the muscle. They want to push him out with Tagwirei. And then Sanyatwe is going to come in. You're going to see Sanyatwe making an attempt, trying to use his link to the army. And then we are going to see, as I said, Mutsvangwa, who is going to fail immediately because Mutsvangwa does not have a constituency. And then in the opposition, you are going to have Chamisa. Chamisa is going to try to come, but you find the environment changed. That leaves Mahere and Tagwirei, the two front runners right now, with Chiwenga as the anointed one. Is the anointed one. He's supposed to just walk into power. But do you think they'll allow him to walk into power? That will never happen. So they will never allow him to walk into power, and he's going to be cut off very quickly. You're going to see something very quickly. I would never trust Mnangagwa if I was Chiwenga. I would never trust him. That is the worst mistake you can make strategically, to trust Mnangagwa. Don't trust Mnangagwa, Chiwenga. Start having your own platforms, start working, and have an offensive strategy. So the problem right now is that Chiwenga has a defensive strategy. You need an offensive strategy. You need to start cutting people off. That is stamina in soccer. What is called stamina? Chiwenga is lacking stamina. He thinks people are nice, and they are not nice. Okay, let's go to our people on Facebook. So you see, guys, it's complicated, but it's coming together. Let's go to our people on Facebook very quickly. And tonight I'm going to be talking a bit more about what Mahere needs to do. So remember, to be president is a call of duty. So a presidency is a call of duty. You have to do it. If you are given the opportunity to be a president, you have to do it. You have to say, I want to be president, and I know what needs to be done. To be a president, you have to lose. You have to lose something. You can't be a president with lose nothing. So Trump, you saw what happened before he became president. Right, let's look at Madam Boss. I'm talking too much. Madam Boss, she's amazing. I like it. I like her dress. She's beautiful. So look at it. She is over here at Zimfest with a lot of different people. So Madam Boss, she is working for a funeral company, and they were marketing over there in the UK. And a lot of people are failing to bury themselves. So they can't be buried. When they die in the UK, we have to do what we call GoFundMes. So she's making amazing. I don't know who did this dress. Madam Boss, who did your dress? Tell us who did. Oh, wow. It's a funeral company dress. That is crazy. I cannot believe it. Then let's go to, I want to go to President Hakainde Hichilema very quickly. So CDF on the move in Chikalamu area of Kamfisa by Kitwe City Council. So they are creating roads here. President Hakainde Hichilema doing very, very well. And also praying President Hakainde Hichilema, an amazing president, the only president that I know that has changed his country the way that is done. I've been to Zambia so many times. It's like my second home now. And then let's see President Dumaboko. So tonight we'll be talking more about what Mahere needs to do. I'll tell you more about what President Dumaboko has done. So Mahere and President Dumaboko are exactly alike. So I'll show you tonight what has happened in Botswana and why. Remember what I'm talking about here, transformation. Botswana under Masisi became a pariah state. Botswana was for the first time being mentioned in terms of human rights abuses. Their previous president was in exile, and intelligence in Botswana, or DIS, became such a big problem. They started to even do what Zanu PF was doing in Zimbabwe. So President Dumaboko, when he came in, he did certain things. Those things are what I'm going to talk about, and we're going to draw a parallel between President Dumaboko and Mahere. Why am I always talking about her? Because she's a lawyer, because she is an opposition figure. So you have to be already an opposition figure. You cannot build on nothing. So whenever you build a political party, you have to build on what's existing. So you can't say, I want to be a president and build on nothing. It's not possible. That is why a movement will never work. And I'm standing firm on that position. And that is why a dialogue needs to take place So no one in Zimbabwe wants to dialogue. So Chamisa wants to dialogue with Mnangagwa, but he doesn't want to dialogue with Biti, with Ngube. He doesn't want to dialogue with anyone else inside the opposition. What they've done in Botswana is the opposite. So they've had a dialogue inside of the opposition, but we'll unpack that tonight. So that is where Chamisa is right now. And most of you are going to see more and more of this, and it's going to become more and more clearer. You cannot be absent during a crisis. It's not possible. If you're absent during a crisis, you lose the ability. It's like an exercise. You cannot go into a match without practicing. That is what Chamisa is trying to do. He's trying to go into a match without practicing, without doing the drills. And that is what we're trying to make these guys do. Do the drills and win. So you must win. Then what else do we have here? Who else do we have? Let me quickly look. Are we still sharing? Let's share so that you can see the people I'm looking at. I want to look at Minnie. Yesterday, I saw she did a lot. And what part is Minnie going to play in what is happening? What is she going to do? Minnie is, what level is she in the army? She said she never deals with the rank. So let's see what Minnie has done. So she's going to play a part, but let's see. She has gone and visited a school. So she says here, let me quickly read it. Yesterday, I was at Popoma Primary School as a guest of honor for the Lupanda Cluster Schools tournament organized by the alumni to uplift the communities. The initiative is running for 5 years, so you can go check it out. She was with Miss Universe Zimbabwe 2025 and Kulumani FM Madinda Ndlovu. I don't know if Madinda Ndlovu is that popular guy or what, but look at Miss Universe Zimbabwe. She is, I don't want to say anything right now. Minazui. So this is good. I like this too. Look at how they designed these clothes. So the way that they've done this is amazing. So that is a whole team over here. How tall is Miss Universe Zimbabwe? Let's see. That's amazing. So check it out over here. That is amazing. And we're going to feature this on Gambako. I'll let the guys do some work on this. Okay. So where are we? We are at a critical juncture, and Tagwirei has just arrived. And Tagwirei is going to be doing a lot. However, the game is not there. Currently, the person with Chimuti is Mahere. That's what I believe. And I don't do things for no reason. So when I tell you guys is Mahere to do, what is Chamisa going to do? Very important to think Chamisa cannot be absent during the crisis. So I know Chamisa watches me every day. And that crisis is unfolding. So the crisis in Zimbabwe is unfolding. The solutions have been tried in Zanu. So there have been many, many attempts to solve the problem from Zanu. That is all failed. They failed to deal with Mnangagwa. So they failed to deal with Mnangagwa. And now the game is going to be the opposition for the next 1,000 days, with the Tagwirei playing a prominent role, and the removal of Chiwenga is going to be a real thing. It's going to be a real thing that will happen in front of our eyes. So I think we've covered it. His manifesto, is it clear? To me, it's not clear. I don't think Tagwirei is going to be very different from Mnangagwa. However, the difference is that he is talking. So he's talking. He's the only person right now who has put himself out there and say, I want to be president. You can clearly see he's not talking about the things that are here. He's talking about a bigger vision. And that is where the opposition needs to come in. You can't have an opposition that is quiet. Look at Sekuru Vena. Sekuru Vena, Venanzo Mondlane. That man has changed Mozambique. So Mozambique is a different and very difficult environment, very tribal. The stuff that happens in Mozambique is tribal. It's like Zambia. So if you are able to make people forget about who you are and where you come from and which tribe you come from, and vote for you. That is a significant move. So Fernando Mondlane has done very, very well. And similarly, Tumabok has done well. Similarly, President Hakainde Hichilema has done well. What Chamisa has done, and what is very different about Nelson Chamisa, is silence in the face of a crisis. Do you think President Maboko will be silent in the face of a crisis? Do you think President Hakainde Hichilema will be silent in the face of a crisis? Do you think Venanzio Mondlane will be silent in the face of a crisis? Already you got the answer. It's not possible. Do you think Malema will be quiet in the face of a crisis? So what you need right now is an opposition figure who is going to counter what Tagwirei is doing. Tagwirei is not silent in the face of a crisis. Tagwirei is enjoying the benefits of being close to Mnangagwa, and is making sure that he prepares his people. So they are going to come out against the opposition. And Tagwirei is not going to use violence. For the first time in Zimbabwe, you are going to have an election where there is no violence, because Tagwirei is not violent. So one thing you must understand is Tagwirei is not violent. So he's not going to want his name to be linked to violence. So you're not going to see violence. For the first time, you'll be able to campaign, but you are going to campaign against a machine. That is a financial machine, a rigging machine, a bribing machine. That man is making all this money to bribe people. And you're going to see something very different this time around. So opposition figures must not just sit there and think that they can win just by having popularity. You need to structure yourself to win. So let's talk about that tonight. And I hope that Mahere doesn't think the invitation we sent to her is a joke. And I hope that she's taking it seriously. And I hope that Chamisa, wherever he is awake to the possibilities of what can happen. A day will come when he's going to be outside and the things are happening and he's watching from outside. That day must not come without Chamisa doing something, because the crisis is unfolding and it needs attention. So the crisis needs attention. The next president of Zimbabwe is going to come from the crisis. It's not going to come from what happened in the past. So this definition of what is happening now is where the presidency is going to come from. And I think at the moment, Chiwenga and Chamisa don't understand where we are. They don't understand what the other candidates are or their strengths. So it's not enough anymore to be popular. Chiwenga is popular, Chamisa is popular, but it's not enough. They need to start structuring, otherwise they will lose. They're going to lose and they'll be surprised what happened. All right, let's look at the comments and then I'm out. Mkoma 1 and 1. The presidents, don't compare them to Chamisa. Mkoma Peter, you're saying Zim political is different from these old people you mentioned. Okay, I don't know. I've said a lot. Gambakwe leave politics to the politicians and stick to what you know best. Gambakwe has been present every single day. Do you know that there are 365 days in a year? Do you know that Gambakwe has spoken for more than 3 hours a day? So that means 3 hours a day times 365, almost 1,000 hours. That is amazing. YouTube, call me. Do you know? Like to talk to me. The guys at YouTube, not Zhekutamba. Why would my wait for Gambakwe to form a political party for her? Okay, let's unpack this. So, Mahere, I know you're watching. And maybe Mahere doesn't understand. I have a lot of people inside CC who are talking to me. I've got a lot of people who are very senior in the CC who are watching what I'm doing. What is the reason? You cannot nominate yourself to be a president. It has never happened. So you can't nominate yourself to be a president. Someone has opened the door for you. So what we've done, and what Mahere understands now, is that we've opened the door for her and made people see her as a presidential candidate. Mkoma Peter, think very carefully. Do you think it was going to make sense for Mahere to walk out of her house and say, I want to be the 2028 presidential candidate? It's not possible. Now, Gambakwe has said, Mahere, we're going to nominate you to be the presidential candidate, not of CC, but of a combined group of opposition, M31 Zimbabwe. That's a different story. When she now goes and says, I want to be presidential candidate, but my party is called Mahere Party, it's a different story now. She's got a story now. That is where it is. That is where Gambakwe comes in. Don't underestimate Gambakwe. Gambakwe is watched by 100,000 people a day. The environment has shifted. And not only that, Gambakwe knows every single politician in Zimbabwe. That is, I've some interaction of one sort or the other. That's why you saw me with the Nyoka Yemabunu. Remember that? The reason why I was able to go and see Nyoka Yemabunu at court and find him and all that, that is the shift of the environment. Mnangagwa watches Gambakwe. Do you know that every morning before he wakes up, when he's still in bed, that is a reason. Because the things I'm telling you now are not the thing that you hear from a normal person. They are a thing that you hear from someone that knows what's going on. So Mahere, if she listens to people that tell her that, no, you must wait for this other person to come and nominate you and all that, she's going to miss an opportunity. A presidency is a call of duty. What is a call of duty? A call of duty is something you do because you have to do it. At the moment, we cannot allow Zanu to take over our country. We cannot continue to complain. That is where I had a bit of a disagreement with Hopo. So when we approached Hopo, I thought Hopo was going to jump on this chance because now he's going to be outside. Maybe if he forms an alliance with Mahere outside of this platform that we're creating. And similarly, this is where I was looking at Freeman Chari. The last time he didn't get an opportunity. So we looked at these people. Don't forget where we're going. Where we're going, you don't want Zanu to win. You want Zanu to lose so badly, like what happened in Botswana. Masisi lost so badly that he phoned President Maboko before the voting was over to say, I've lost and conceded. Mnangagwa is gone. So violence is no longer a part of what is happening. The army is not going to be involved in what's going on. So when Tagwirei is a candidate, the army is going to sit in the office and watch. They are going to watch him lose. They are going to watch Chiwenga will be fired by that time. So by the time we go to the elections and Tagwirei is the candidate, if Chiwenga doesn't move, they would have fired him by that time because they're not going to have Tagwirei with Chiwenga there. So they're going to fire him. The army is going to watch and see what happens. In fact, they're going to help the opposition to win by making sure there's no rigging. So the election you're going into is different. So what you need to do is to catalyze this thing. Catalyze the thing. Make it work. Make everyone's eyes open. And for example, don't end up with no candidate who is credible. So when you talk of Mahere, we are nominating her because we want not only to open your eyes, but to open her eyes. So at the same time, we're going to open her eyes so that she can see who she is. It's very hard for people to see who they are. Because if you ask Mahere, are you president? Are you like presidential material? She might sit there and think, I'm not presidential material. It's not true. She's the most powerful woman right now among. So I present her at the same level as Mam Juru. The time we did work with Mam Juru, the problem was men did not accept a woman as a presidential candidate. It was very hard. And there was Kupe. Kupe was destroying everything with the antics. So now we have a situation where women are actually empowered. So it's an opportunity for a woman to take over. And if a woman takes over in Zimbabwe, we're going to do very, very well. Gambakwe, big time on Chamisa, is already covered a big ground on the formation of a new movement with Mahere is part of. I don't believe so. Mahere will never work with Chamisa. It's not possible. And mark my word, it won't happen. It will never happen for Mahere and Chamisa to work together in a movement. You are going to see Chamisa appearing and going and appearing and going. Unfortunately, many people don't get it. The reason why he's going to do that is because he failed to appear during the crisis. So was he around during the crisis when we expected leadership? And that question is going to haunt Chamisa. The failure to rise during a crisis. And this is the most difficult thing. When he was asked by Mdara Geza Kuti, are you part of it? And he said, I don't know anything about it. That day, that is the day it ended. The movement ended on that very day when he said he doesn't know what's going on. So we may love Chamisa, but where does he fit now in this matrix? Remember, people used to love the opposition and not love Zanu. Do you know that a majority of Zimbabweans actually like Chiwenga? What time is it? 55 minutes. I'm talking longer than Makandiwa. So let me just leave this for tonight. People actually now like Chiwenga. They don't look at him as Zanu. Like you go to a normal person who's walking on the street in Harare, they like Chiwenga. For real. The question is, what is Chiwenga going to do? It's no longer about whether he's Zanu or not. It's what is he going to do? Do you know that if you present Chiwenga and Chamisa in Harare, it's no longer simple. The answer is no longer just Chamisa. It's going to be a difficult choice. Some people would say, maybe I should vote Chiwenga. But when you present Tagwirei and you present Chamisa, what kind of a permutation is that? You see, so guys, think very carefully. Chamisa is not going to walk into this presidency. Similarly, Chiwenga is not going to walk in the presidency. That is why you need a structure. You can no longer afford to have 210 constituencies and contest 190, because that difference is going to be very small. It's not going to be a big difference between the two parties. All right, I think I've over-talked, and you know that I like to hear my own voice. Go and watch my good, I love it. She was speaking today, so go check out a Big Sunday in the UK. I really like this. She talks so slowly, but I like it. I watched this video today. It was amazing. Also, go and check out Kokotela and his new mother. We've put all this on Gambakwe, but I'm going to put my good to summarize what she said here. She's saying a lot. And then what else did we look at today? Let's see what else we're looking at. The arrival of Mnangagwa and Chiwenga opening that week at the president's office. So we're going to give that to you as soon as we get it. Right. I would like to thank all of you for watching. Remember what I said. Violence is no longer a factor. You will be able, during the next elections, you'll be able to go. Gambakwe will be in Harare. Everyone will be around. All those people who are arrested will be released by the time the election comes. Violence is no longer a factor. But what is the factor? Money is going to be a factor. So Tagwirei's money is going to be a factor. Chiwenga is going to be dribbled. And then Chamisa is going to be dribbled. Then you'll see the rise of Mahere. If she can understand where she is right now in terms of her popularity, she is going to do very, very well. She's going to win so easy. It's going to be shocking. All right. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. And every morning, I am here at 5 a.m. and also at 10 minutes past 9. And we also do something during the day. And a good day. So Zanu won't fire Chiwenga. That won't happen. McDonald K. Mark this day, 28 July 2025. Never say never. If you don't form a platform, if you don't talk, if you don't have a team, firing you is easy. That is the problem. Currently, Chiwenga is understand that you cannot just be a president because you are in line. You can't do that. You have to work for it. All right. Thank you very much for watching, and a good day to you all.